Hello, I'm Marcin Romanowski. Welcome back to World Talks, where every word matters. The detention and subsequent release of former Deputy Justice Minister has caused much turmoil in Polish politics. How will the legal battle between the Polish government and representative of the former administration impact the probe into the misuse of public funds by the former officials? Well, to talk about it, we're joined by political activist Jakub Kocjan in our studio.
Good morning.
Morning. Good to have you with us. So, first of all, how significant is this event, the detention of the former Deputy Justice Minister, and what happened the very same day, I mean the release of the same person?
I believe that it was a very important day also for the process of holding accountable the politicians which had some connections with alleged misuse of public funds. So I believe it was important, and it is important to remember that the whole case of the Justice Fund is still ongoing. It was only one of the first. Also, Michał Woś was one of the members of parliament who are involved already in this prosecution. Of course, we are talking now mostly, and I will explain a bit more about this unexpected release of Romanowski from arrest, because, of course, it shows some mistakes of state prosecutor's office. But still we have to remember that the most significant part of that was that now the politicians of former ruling parties, because he was from this Sovereign Poland party of Minister of Justice Zbigniew Ziobro, are held accountable, and it is the most important thing.
Mm-hmm. Right, you said it was a mistake by the by Polish prosecutor's office. So, in general, what does it tell us about the current judiciary and prosecutor's office? Well, they are trying to investigate the misuse of public funds by the former government, but will they succeed?
I believe that the important fact and really good news is that now judiciary system in Poland, especially Polish courts, are independent again, because the judge from Warsaw District Court decided the way which would be against expectations of current government. And even 1 year ago, during Law and Justice government, she would be persecuted. For example, the disciplinary proceeding would be ignited against her or something. So it's a really good thing that now judges feel that they can decide even if it is against the political power. But of course, the state prosecutor's office made a mistake that they had not notified the intent to start the detention process and temporary arrest, especially of Romanowski, to PACE. So it is very important to differentiate that it is not European Parliament, it's not European Union body, it is the body of Council of Europe. Sure. It is Parliamentary Assembly of Council of Europe. So it's not like with members of European Parliament that they are not members of parliaments in the member countries. They have to be members of parliaments from the countries. So it was very specific legal issue, and it was very controversial, whether waiving the immunity of member of parliament means of national parliament means also that the immunity of member of this delegation is this second immunity, let's say, also waived. In my opinion, and in opinion of majority of lawyers and also advisors to state prosecutor and Minister of Justice, it would be automatic that this second immunity, let's say, is also waived because it is strongly connected to being the member of Polish Parliament. However, the Council of Europe, and especially Parliamentary Assembly of Council of Europe, sees it a bit different way, but also they don't have the whole background of the case because they were informed only by the attorney of Romanowski, and it is totally their right, only to inform about the details of the case, which are in favor of the suspected.
So what will happen with Romanowski's case now? Because I guess that the Polish prosecutors will somehow have to work with the legal representatives of PACE to work it out, right?
Yeah, so now there are two main questions. So firstly, State Prosecutor Korneluk and his office, they can appellate from the decision of district court to regional court, in Warsaw. This regional court would have more time, because I also understand some logic of the judge that in case of any doubts, you are deciding on the side of freedom, of releasing the suspected if there are doubts. But the court in the second instance would have much more time to decide on this very complicated issue. But the second thing is, of course, that now we have to start a dialogue, which maybe it was the mistake that there was not such a dialogue before with PACE, in order to show the whole background of this case, because it is very important. Maybe, for example, they were not, they had not known about the fact that it was totally not connected to being the member of PACE, the whole case. So maybe it would change also the background of that, because as every institution, probably Council of Europe and PACE would like to broaden their competences and their immunity, and it is totally normal when it comes to different organizations.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, to look at the broader picture, how many former ruling coalition politicians can stand trials soon in connection to the misuse of public funds and the abuse of power?
Oh, I would say that it can be even hundreds of people, because firstly, there are members of parliament, of course, but there are also politicians on different levels who are engaged in some of these cases. Probably Justice Fund is the most visible, because it was so shocking to misuse the money which belonged to the victims of crimes. It was the biggest scandal because of who was the victim again of corruption and misuse of public funds. But there are much more cases. There are cases regarding to education, for example, the transfer of some buildings to some strange foundations which were created just before the contests to support education system via transferring buildings in some good locations. And I would say that
are Polish prosecutors already looking into the cases?
Even Minister Bodnar, Minister of Justice, yesterday was talking about 20 big investigations regarding different areas, because it was like that in every area, education, justice, health system, there was misuse of public funds. And now we have to understand this complex mechanisms, because it was like via public funds, sometimes special funds, like for victims of crimes, for education, for COVID time, for pandemic time. Inside there were some mechanisms in order to support particular groups inside law and justice camps, like Sovereign Poland, but also Republican Party inside this camp. So I believe that there is a lot of ongoing investigations, and in order to not to repeat some mistakes, like in this case, I believe it is important to say that justice takes time, and in the country with rule of law, again, it takes even more time, but it is very important to work on all of these cases with some focusing more on details, on specific mechanisms than on pace and time.
Right, now I'd like us to listen to the Polish Minister of Justice, Adam Bodnar.
We still have a group of suspects. The investigation is still unfolding, and there is still evidence pointing to the possibility that these crimes were committed.
So, as you said, the investigation is still unfolding, and well, yes, I guess we'll see much more interesting facts coming out to the light in next few weeks and months. Lastly, I'd like to ask you whether you think that these attempts, this misuse, the misuse of public funds, was it somehow coordinated?
Yeah, I believe, and it is definitely the thing during this investigation, that some way it was even divided, yeah, that one political party of this coalition of United Right is responsible, let's say, but of course it means that they have additional access to some funds via higher education, for example, and this party via a Minister of Justice, and every party, every fraction even inside this camp had access to particular funds. So maybe it was coordinated even on the highest, on the top level of this former ruling camp, which would be even more shocking that the corruption and misuse of public funds was really official politics of our country for some time. But it is also very important to underline that the arrest, the temporary arrest and the immunity case, it's not about the charges, yeah? It's not changing the proofs, it's not changing the gist of whole the case. It's only about arrest, and it doesn't have connection with the with what's in the center of this case.
Of course, legal technicalities. Political activist Jakub Kocjan.
Thank you very much for invitation.
Thank you very much, and thank you for watching. That is all for now, and stay with us for much more here on TVP World.